Hey everyone, this is Zach, and I just wanted to give you a heads up that the Golden Geek Awards nominations will be closing on March 14th, and your 10th favorite podcast would love a vote from you all. Unfortunately, they do not have a most podcast category, so best podcast will have to do for now. Once again, that's Golden Geek, podcast, vote, Mile High Game Guys. And with that out of the way, it is time to enjoy the show. Bye.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we are here with another Wednesday episode brought to you by our sponsors, Gray Fox Games, the awesome sponsors of Wednesday episodes for months now.
Yes.
Literal months.
Very true.
Yes.
And not technically the sponsor of this Friday's episode, but provider of copy of game.
Yes. Yes, indeed. So let's dive right into some new things that have happened.
Uh-huh.
I got a new job.
Yes.
And Jeff almost died.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Caught up.
Or rather, you continued to get your new job.
I have finally. It is official. I have succeeded. It has entirely been processed. So the last week,
it's not a new job.
No. This is the job that I had hinted at that I left my appliance job for, even though I didn't technically have it 100% locked up. I took a bold risk, and it paid off. But it was getting dicey.
They already paid you?
No, not literally paid off, figuratively. But so last week,
So like my student loans.
mine aren't even figuratively paid off.
No, mine are not either.
Mine are.
Good
I
job,
got that going for me.
There you go.
Yeah. So I done, I'm trying to remember, as of the last recording, I had done my background check. I'd filled all that out. I'd done my drug test, and I was waiting to hear for the results. And I was scheduled to start.
Does this drug test for crack?
No.
Okay.
Thank God.
Good.
Good.
They're only worried about pot.
Yeah. And also does not test for booze, because I was drunk when I took it. No. No. I'm just
they don't. Sometimes.
Yeah,
Sometimes they do, though.
Some do.
Yeah.
But I had done all that, and I was just waiting. And I knew that today, Monday the 11th, was my scheduled start date at this new company. And so as the week went on last week, and I kept not hearing anything, I began to get nervous. And so Wednesday, we did game night, and then I drove up to the mountains with Megan, because there was a wicked snowstorm heading for Colorado that even far exceeded our best expectations, but I'll come back to that.
Yeah. Well, and also I feel like it was your birthday, so you were probably going up there regardless.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, if there had been no powder at all, like no storms on the horizon, we might have done something different. But since there was snow coming and Megan had like 3 days off, I had 4 days off, it was just a good chance to get up there. So Thursday morning, so we went to bed Wednesday night, and the forecast for the snow was like 3 to 7 inches. And we woke up Thursday morning, and Keystone had gotten 17 inches, and A-Bay got like 20. And then A-Bay didn't open at all Thursday or Friday because of avalanche danger. Yeah. There have been like 400 avalanches this season.
Yeah.
Which is usually the
insane.
entire season's worth.
Yeah.
And we're only in March. There's still like a month or two left of avalanche season.
I had seen one that one of my friends posted that was like, this pass was closed because an avalanche added 30 to 40 feet of snow onto it. And I was talking with I think I was talking with a Lyft rider, and I was like, if they came up to me and be like, all right, Zach, we've got 40 feet of snow on this road. How do we get it off? I'd be like, I don't even know where to start with that.
Flamethrower.
You're going to need an entire battalion of army guys all armed with flamethrowers.
Yeah. Now, what do we do about the flash flood?
Yeah. You're going to need a whole army battalion of guys armed with hair dryers.
All right, how do we power all of these hair dryers?
You build a water wheel, but the flood turns.
Okay, all right.
See, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah,
we almost have a perpetual engine machine going here.
Yeah, perpetual avalanche energy.
Yeah.
The worst of the avalanches that I saw, actually, I saw last night or this morning, and it was a 3-mile wide stretch of mountain
Yeah, I
that
saw that.
sloughed off and wiped out the pass to Conundrum Hot Springs, which sucks because Conundrum Hot Springs is awesome, but it's probably for the best because asshole, inconsiderate people were ruining Conundrum Hot Springs, and now nobody's going to be able to get to it for a while because that valley is fucked. But yeah, tons of snow. So we rode all day Thursday. It was easily the single best day I've had out here in Colorado riding. Best day I've ever had riding, period. It was just amazing. I don't hardly even know how to handle myself in 17 inches of powder on main runs. Like, it's just so much snow.
Did you have any ice to deal with or anything like
Nope.
that? Okay.
Well, that's not entirely true. There was one very steep run where I was able to find the ice all the way under the powder because I went to carve and I'd redone my bindings and shifted them all the way to the back of my board so that I had all my weight at the back to keep up in the powder. And as I did, like, my feet kind of went out from under me and my board went down until I could hear and feel it scrape on the ice. And then I just slid under the 17 inches of snow. And then a bunch of snow came from above me, like a little mini avalanche. And I was able to get my hand up to be like, nobody run me over. There's a person right here. As I dug myself out of, a 1.5 foot of snow on top of my chest. It was wonderful.
That sounds fun.
It was amazing.
Sounds like that's the way that you don't, when you fail at snowboarding. That seems like a good way to do it.
That way is fine,
Yeah.
yes. Just a gentle, it's like
Yeah.
sliding under a thick blanket of ice cold snow,
Yeah.
but it's soft and cushy, and it doesn't break your legs.
True.
So,
I only had the one powder day at the closing weekend of Keystone last year.
yeah.
That was the only powder day I got.
There are more powder days in your future, Jeff.
Yeah.
Next
sure.
season.
Next season, the snow is going to be as bad as last season.
I hope it's not
That's
an
what
every other year cycle. That'll
Yeah.
suck.
No snow, just at all.
We didn't open this year.
We heard Jeff was coming back, so
Fuck that guy.
yeah.
Well, save a bunch of money that way.
Yeah.
It's true.
But it was, I was, practically giddy with excitement. So while we were snowboarding, like at one point I got off in some trees and like collapsed in partial exhaustion, and some skiers came by and cheered at me because I had my big Viking knit cap on. And then like one of them towards the end of their pack also like flopped down next to me, panting with exhaustion. And he was like, dude, this snow's amazing. I was like, yeah, I know. He's like, you must have prayed to the snow gods or something. Like he had a name for it. Like he must have known some Norse mythology of like the Norse snow god or something. But I was like, yeah. I was like, I prayed to them and they blessed me on this, my 34th name day with all of this snow. And so it's pretty awesome.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is spelled Ullr.
Ullr, I think, is what everybody kept saying.
Okay.
Ullr or something.
Ullr.
Ullr. I don't know. But yeah, multiple people seem to know who that was and were referencing it to me all that day riding. Even at the Levante's Smoke Shack at the base level of Keystone, the bartender gave me a free $10 beer.
Wow.
Because she realized it was my birthday, which I was like, well, fuck yeah. Like, I was thirsty enough and tired enough. I was going to pay $10 for a beer, but I'll take a free one.
The patron saint of skiers.
Okay. Yeah, so that was amazing. And that's like, I could tell stories about that day for forever. It was great. But,
Stepson of Thor.
okay. Thor's stepson. Cool.
Yeah.
I got to, we got done though, and I got back to the condo, and it was like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I still hadn't heard from this job. And so I was like, all right, I'll send him a quick email. So I emailed them, and I was like, hey, I filled out all that background stuff, did my year analysis. I was like, I haven't heard anything, and I'm supposed to start on Monday. Do you have an update for me? And they emailed me back at like 7 o'clock that night, and they're like, yeah, we're just waiting on one last piece of information from Camden, Georgia. And they went, that should wrap up soon and we'll be good. And my heart fucking sank because Camden, Georgia is where I got my DUI way back when I was in the Navy. And I've had so many random little issues crop up from that because it was right when I was getting out of the Navy and I moved home and I had hired an attorney to do like a bunch of plea and abstention and handle all the litigation side of getting me off of this DUI, which supposedly he did. I was never actually convicted of a DUI. It was a reckless driving, and I did a year of probation, and I paid probation fees, and I did community service, and I thought it was all good, but so much of the paperwork never got filed, and this is backwater bullshit county, Georgia, And so anytime I had to call them or deal with them in any way, shape, or form, it was just pure hell. And so when I saw Camden, Georgia in that email, I was like, it's fucking done. It's fucking over. They're going to be like, find out that I have a warrant out because I never showed up in some day of court that some attorney never told me about. And it's just all a disaster. So I was super stressed my birthday evening. Megan was awesome, gave me a really good background. I was like, dude, don't worry. Like, even if this does, like, first of all, why are they going to care about a 13-year-old DUI, even if there is a DUI? And there's not, so they're not going to find anything. And it's fine. It's just Camden County, Georgia. They're probably looking through old file cabinets for the paperwork to send them. And I was like, okay, you're right. And then, sure enough, Friday, we didn't snowboard because we were exhausted, and we saw another wave of snow coming for Sunday. And while I was sitting around relaxing Friday at the condo, I got the email that the background check had cleared, the drug test was clean, and I was good to start. Officially, welcome to the team, welcome to the company. And so, pretty awesome birthday all around.
Woo.
Yeah. And then, like I said, A-Bay was closed Thursday, Friday. So we went there on Saturday with 22 inches of untouched powder, which was the only reason it was less amazing than Thursday was because it was 2-day-old powder. So it was a little bit crustier, and A-Bay is a lot windier. So some of it was pretty windswept. But otherwise, also fucking amazing day of snowboarding. Just great. So all around, fantastic birthday weekend for me. Came back Saturday to go watch Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
which I really liked.
Yep, same here.
We saw that Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I played some games on Sunday to wrap out a good birthday weekend. So that's what I've been up to. I'll talk about the games a little bit later.
Yeah.
Now, what about you guys? How was your weekend?
Well, here, let's get
Talk about Marvel?
a little bit of good stuff before we go into Jag.
Or do we want to make a shit sandwich? We talked about some good. We can talk about some bad, and then we can finish like Captain Marvel and other good things.
Okay, that works.
Or
Jeff.
maybe it's like poop, good stuff, poop. It's like poop is the bread.
Sure.
Yeah.
Although I don't know what we started with. It was poop.
Oh, that's true.
It's an open-faced poop sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone just imagine that in your heads for a little while. Let it simmer.
Yeah, well, we'll have a little moment of silence here while that image just sinks in.
Yes.
It settles. All right. Well, anyway.
So what's the bad?
Yeah. Jeff, bad.
So I got a pulmonary embolism, which is basically a blood clot and or even marrow from your leg. It travels into your lungs and then blocks a blood vessel in your lungs. And then you can't breathe and your heart rate goes up by like 100%-ish. So I had to deal with that, which was fun. That was
last night.
Yes. That was me going to an emergency room.
When you're supposed to be playing Tsukuyumi.
When I was supposed to be up here playing a game.
Yeah.
And had to go to the emergency room, told them the symptoms, and they were like, yeah, that's what that sounds like, and gave me a bunch of thrombotics, warfarin, and gave me a prescription for something with an H that I don't remember off the top of my head that I will have to take for a while, and wonderful injectable Lovenox, which I will have to jab into myself regularly for the time being. Blood thinner.
Yeah.
It's great.
No clots.
Let me tell you, blood thinners and alcohol mix well.
But you're good now. They cleared you.
Yes, I was released at about 4 a.m. No work today.
And luckily, there was a hospital like half a mile from where you live.
Oh, yeah, it's super close. It's the same place I went for my kidney stone a couple of years ago, St. Luke's.
They get to know you in there?
No.
Like, oh, it's Jeff again.
No.
How'd life shit on you this time, Jeff?
Yeah.
Just right in the lung. That's where it's.
Yeah, that poop sandwich lodged itself right in my lung. But it was a stable pulmonary embolism and not an unstable pulmonary embolism. Unstable will kill you sometimes, and a stable one has a survival rate of like 99 to 98% or something like that.
And especially because you're like, oh, something feels wrong. I should go to the hospital.
Yeah, and not go to the hospital.
Yeah, be like,
but I've already maxed out all of my health insurance this
go.
year, so 2 thumbs up for whatever the fuck I need.
Yeah.
I like how you always look on the sunny side
Yeah, I can just go
of
and
the shit sandwich.
Yeah,
You're like, that bread. That's nice bread.
that was a good bread.
Yeah.
It was good bread. It was like a nice Trader Joe's like marble rye. I got good bread.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was regular rye. It just looked marbled.
Yeah. So that was my yesterday.
Okay.
I mean, I also got like I got a championship in Apex Legends yesterday too, so that was pretty cool.
pulmonary embolism
Yeah.
championship, hand in hand.
Yeah. It was also the most murdery game I had ever played.
Did all the murder raise your heart rate to knock the?
I mean, it
plot
does.
loose?
I don't get as much of a heart rate increase as back when we first played the Murder Island PUBG. When you're getting to that end, your heart rate really went up then. Now it's sort of
because the game's super fast paced, so it doesn't. Because
it's like 11 or 12 minutes.
yeah, and PUBG was slow, action.
Yeah.
This one's like even when nothing's happening, you're still moving around doing shit.
Sliding all over the place.
Yeah, and if someone ambushes you, you're not immediately fucked
Yeah.
like you were in PUBG.
You don't panic.
You don't panic.
as
Oh
much.
gosh.
You have like a shield and not just dead.
Yeah.
But it was in like this cavern area that's pretty big. I think it's like the caves or caverns. I don't know.
Oh,
the
I know
exact
what you're
name.
talking about. Yeah.
And we just started fighting there, but clearly everyone else that was left in the match had also heard this firefight and decided to join in, because that's usually what happens, because you want a third party, two people fighting, and sort of finish off whoever survives. And we just kept fighting and kept not dying until it just said champion, and we were like, it was a total pub game, and we were like, holy shit, that was fast. So like, I thought that was like half the team's gone, and then it was just popped up with championship, and it was like, all right. That game was over in like 7.5 minutes.
There you go.
That was a real fast game. And definitely the most corpses I've ever seen in one spot.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I couldn't breathe anymore.
Yeah. Like,
Time
got my heart racing. It's been like an hour. Why hasn't that heart stopped racing?
It did not take that long for me to realize that something was wrong, but and that was not the cause of it. It was just sort of me sitting around, and then it was like, oh, this seems to be a problem. I have a Fitbit watch, and the Fitbit watch was like, that seems high. So yeah, that's what I did yesterday.
Right on.
Nice.
Zach, anything for you?
So I watched.
I went to Torchy's too this weekend.
Torchy's real good.
I had one taco, and some queso.
Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah, you get a taco and queso, and it's still like $15.
Yeah, I mean it's not cheap, but
yeah,
it's good.
Yeah,
I have leftover queso at home that I can just eat.
There you go.
Yeah.
I watched 2 superhero related things this weekend.
Two.
First one was Captain Marvel, like you guys saw.
Okay.
I enjoyed it as well. I thought they did a good job. I think Brie Larson and Sam Jackson did great jobs in that.
I think Sam Jackson
and that AD agent is fucking. Apparently, you can see it if he's like running, just in the sense that you're like that looks like a 70-year-old man running.
Okay.
But yeah, no, his face was like there are times when I was looking.
It was
and I'm
no
like,
Princess Leia face.
No, it was not.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I liked their chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple times that the humor, like they had parts that were definitely funny, like I laughed, but they felt very out of place from a pacing perspective a couple times.
A little bit, yeah. There were definitely a couple times with that, but I overall
It's definitely that it felt like a Joss Whedon movie at times, where it was like humor was there for maybe not where it should have been.
Yeah.
to an extent.
Yeah.
But I'd rather it be a little too humorous than not humorous at all. The
Yeah.
DC approach.
Yeah.
The what approach?
The DC approach.
Oh, yeah.
The Joss Whedon approach.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, also true.
Yes.
Well, no, he injected some humor into Justice League.
Yeah.
So
I liked Captain Marvel more after seeing it.
yeah, I thought the plot was well done.
Yeah.
I
think it still falls right in the middle of the pack
yeah, I would say like
of
I
on
would
the list.
say definitely top half, like maybe like top half to top third area for me, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Under top third, but above half. So it's
Okay.
definitely one of the better origin movies.
It's like somewhere in the like 3/8 to 4/8
Yes.
gas tank
Yeah.
level.
Sure.
Well, yeah.
I think for me, like I really liked it. I'm glad I saw it in theaters. I don't have
Yeah.
I don't have a strong desire to go see it again in theaters.
Yeah.
Like I have with other Marvel movies, where it's like, fuck, I want to see that again.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not entirely sure. Like I don't really see myself watching this one regularly, like I do like Guardians of the Galaxy or something, where it's like, or Ragnarok, where it's like, yeah, I'm sitting around, I got nothing to do, I'm playing on my computer. Yeah, I'll throw on Ragnarok in the background.
Yeah.
It's not something like that. It's not I don't think it has a lot of rewatchability, but I'm definitely glad I saw it.
I as per usual, as soon as I finish watching a movie like that, I immediately look through all my podcasts. So like, all right, who's already fucking reviewed this so I can listen to it. And I listened to, it was the Slash Film Cast. It's one I've been listening to. Like they just finished episode 500 and something.
Jeez.
And I started on episode 7. So
Wow.
yeah.
Is that once a week?
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah. But they had on one of my favorite film critics, Joanna Robinson, and I liked the movie more after listening to that, especially because she was giving obviously a female perspective of the movie.
Mhm.
There was a lot of shit going on that was like, oh fuck, I didn't even think about that. Like, obviously coming from a guy, it's like you're watching it, and then they're like, oh no, there's this like whole other thing going here too about like just a whole bunch of things. I was like, yeah, oh, that totally makes sense why they're So I did like it. The other thing I watched was I saw yet another video that was like, man, Doom Patrol is fucking killer. And I was like, I looked and I was like, I know it's on that stupid DC Universe app. And I looked it up and there's like a 7-day free trial.
Of course there is.
And I was like, all right, I'll watch one episode. And then I immediately watched all the rest of the episodes that I could because this is really fucking good.
Are they releasing like once a week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. But I'll probably be keeping the subscription at least until this finishes.
Okay.
And
It's got our Lord and Savior Brendan Fraser in it.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does a great job in that. Definitely much like the second episode introduced Cyborg, who miles better in like the 20 minutes you see of him in that
Than the entirety of
than
Justice
the
League.
entirety of Justice League. Oh man.
Even though Cyborg's not in the Justice League.
No.
Or in the Doom Patrol.
Yes.
But
He's not in the Teen Titan or the Titans on their show.
Yeah, which
So-
is where he should be.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think he works really well here.
That's
so
good.
And it's weird. It gets weird.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on that I'm like, I am into this.
Get real weird with it.
Yes.
That's cool.
At one point, you see a Nazi puppet show.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
I mean,
It makes sense in context.
Hasn't everyone seen Puppet Master? Those were all Nazi puppets. One thing I think we didn't talk about last week was the Orville.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They had a really good space battle episode
It was very good. Yeah.
that was like blew my mind. And I was trying to think of other really good space battle things that this would beat. And the only one that I could think of was the one from Rogue One, the battle. At the end.
At the end. Yeah, I could see that.
That was the only thing that I was like, yeah, this one is a better space battle than this TV
Well,
show.
just in the sense of just a giant bunch of ships versus a giant bunch of ships. And
Yeah.
then they have at it.
Yes.
In that sense, yeah.
And then like Serenity.
Haven't seen it. So.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm a leaf on the wind.
Yes.
See me soar.
Yes. There was a trivia question about that in a fairly humorous category of famous last lines in movies.
Mhm.
And it was like, what was that again? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. And that was, but like, who says it? It's Hans Gruber that says it.
Mhm.
I'm a leaf on the wind. And and then I got sad.
Yeah. Oh, wash.
Oh, wash.
He's Mr. Nobody in Doom Patrol.
And
And he's the narrator for the show, too. Which
that's
works
cool.
out well.
Okay.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
They should release Tucker and Dale versus Evil 2 sooner or later. I think it's happening.
Yeah?
I don't
I wanna
know.
say it's a thing.
I don't know what that would do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
where are you going to go with the story for that one?
I don't know.
And then
Who
also-
cares?
I mean, I care. I want there to be some kind of story.
I just want
that
more
makes
kids
sense.
killing themselves on our property,
I
officer.
don't. I feel like they wouldn't do that again.
No.
So
Speaking of Brendan Fraser, I saw that the Mummy is going to be at the Alamo, and I really want to go see it again.
I would do that.
I would
too.
also probably do that.
Yeah.
I missed the Brendan
It's all
Fraser
all of them are on Netflix now, but I was like,
Yeah.
I'll just go to the theater and watch it
Yeah.
for $12 or something.
Right.
Although, knowing our luck, it'll be on Wednesday.
Yeah,
It's always on fucking Wednesday.
of course.
And there's a Terminator 2 one that I want to go
Yeah.
see.
Oh, I would see that too.
Yeah,
That'd be another
it's
one.
almost sold out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I should jump on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's enough about banter and what we've been doing. Let's talk
Mhm.
about what we've been playing.
Yes.
So, continuing my epic, awesome weekend of birthday shenanigans, I had asked Megan, I was like, hey, I'm going to spend a whole bunch of time with you up at the condo, snowboarding and hanging out and relaxing. So, Sunday, I'm going to play 18XX for like 4 to 5 hours.
On the
And-
low end.
And she signed off on that. So I was getting people together to play 1889. I actually really wanted to do 18 Chesapeake, but when I got a hold of Tony to borrow it, he was like, I literally just lent that out. I won't have it back for like 2 weeks.
Womp womp.
No.
No 18 Chesapeake.
Yeah, so sadly, no 18 Chesapeake, which is, I feel, the one I know the best. So it's the one I really wanted to play. Ended up borrowing Paul's 1889. He couldn't join us. It ended up just being Blaze, relatively new heavy gamer to the group. And
He owns a copy of High Frontier.
yes, which we're planning on playing in May at some point. So once ski season's over, because that's going to be the only time that it will work. And even then, I don't know how it's going to work with my new job, because I'm not going to really have time to block out 6 hours for gaming that other people also have open for 6 hours of gaming. So I don't know what we're going to do about that, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
But it was him, and then Kaiser, the hater, came and joined. And so
Needed a new reason to hate us all.
correct. Blaze ended up being almost an hour late because he forgot about daylight savings time, because he apparently still uses an actual clock in his bedroom and not his cell phone. So he was late, and so we got started later than we wanted to. We wanted to start at 11, and then I was planning like 1889. I feel like usually like 4-ish hours, so I was thinking it'd go about 5. Ended up going like 6.5. So we ended up calling it. We didn't quite finish because Andrew had told his wife he'd be home much earlier than he ended up being home. And the game, we were probably getting pretty close to the end. We had finally, when we called it, we had just triggered diesels, and so everybody had lost their 3 and 4s. And so pretty much all of the companies had diesels. A couple had 5 and 6 trains. And we're running for a decent amount. We probably could have mathed out one more round and gotten pretty close. I think if we'd played it all the way out, I might have stood a chance of winning, because I had easily the highest value stock, and it was only going to keep going up. But the turn we called it, Andrew had bought a diesel train and forced me to pay out of my personal funds to get both of my 2 companies' diesel trains that are $1,100 each. And so I had to spend like $1,100, and then I lost by like $700. So it hurt substantially. But I really liked it. Blaze really liked it. And I think Andrew liked it. Andrew definitely said he'd be interested in playing again sometime. And he really wanted to see one through to the end. I was very surprised as well.
Just due to it seems like a lot of times length tends to be his main detractor on a game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Blaze loved it. He definitely
I'm not
wants to
surprised
play.
at all.
Yeah.
No, as soon as we were playing Vanuatu with him, and it was like, he was like, yeah, I just really like, long, blah. And I was like, I audibly sighed, and I was like, you should just go talk to Adrian about 18XX games.
It was before Vanuatu, though, because you guys were playing something else when I got there. Because when I came over,
yes,
you were like, this is Adrian. You need to talk to him.
Oh,
no,
like,
I was
talking. It was during Petrichor on Tuesday.
Oh,
and then I was like, well, Adrian will be there on Wednesday, so talk to him about it then.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so it was good to get a play in. Both Mike Jones and Lance are also interested in learning, and so I think with a little bit of cultivation, a little bit of work, I can have a nice little 18XX local group, since I lost a lot of the heavy cardboard folks. They've kind of scattered to the winds.
You plant the Ticket to Ride train, and it sprouts into 18XX.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You keep the Ticket to Ride train far, far away.
No.
In a
Plant the
dungeon.
seed.
No, it's the wrong seed.
It's a train
Sorry,
seed.
you plant the bland, know-nothing piece in the ground, and then it grows into a $150 bill.
Sure. But yeah, really liked it. Had a bunch of fun. I have to figure out my new shift for my job is Thursday through Sunday. And so I have to figure out what I'm going to do about Age of Steam Con at the end of, or not Age of Steam Con, Trax, the 18XX convention here in Denver at the end of April, because it's Thursday through Sunday. So it's like, I hope I can get that off somehow.
Nope.
But we'll see. Yeah, that's what I played to round out my birthday weekend with some 18XX. I was very excited about it. What about you guys? Zach, what'd you play?
Nothing too much, because a lot of our time was played trying to do Tsukuyumi.
Yes.
But we did on, what day was that? Saturday?
Sure.
Friday. We went to the game lounge, and we were like, it was for somebody was celebrating a new job, and so like, we'll go there, and it seemed like more people were interested than we thought there were more people interested, and so like we're like, we'll set up Tsukuyumi, and then we can play.
Yeah.
And nobody else showed up after us.
Yep.
So the people that were already there were just playing a game, and we're like, well, we can't play Tsukuyumi 2-player.
Well, Paul did show up after, but he didn't want to play.
No, he didn't want to play.
No.
Which is still surprising, but
yeah.
So we backed it up because we didn't have the 2-player expansion for it.
No.
And so we decided to pull out the Rick and Morty deck building game.
Yes, which is based off the...
It's Cerberus system that Cryptozoic does.
Yeah.
So that's all the like DC deck building, the Street Fighter, the bunch of different ones that have even the Resident Evil deck building game. They all use that similar system. In so far that all of them have the same back too.
Yeah, and it was based off the Too Many Ricks episode.
Yeah,
I don't remember the name of the episode.
It was close.
The Council of Ricks.
Well, yeah, but
this
was close Rickcounter. No, Close Encounters of the Close Rickcounters
of the Rick kind.
The Rick kind. Okay,
yes.
It was both. So it was it was that style of deck builder.
It was just that.
I've played some of the other ones, and they all they all theme it towards whatever the theme is. So this one is different card types are Morty's, Rick's, equipment, and then locations and stuff. And you can use a portal gun to go to a location
that have a power.
Yeah,
that act kind of like stations in Star Realms, I guess. They sort of just stay out and have a
I mean, all those ones have locations in them that do the same sort of thing. Yeah, and it had little thematic things of one of the defense cards was a Morty doll. That you could be if someone attacks you, you can reveal it and say, show me the Morty.
And it's an auto defend.
And an auto defend, but that's what the doll says in it. In the episode. But
you have to squanch under the table.
Yeah.
Mimic squanching
yes.
under the table.
Yep.
And you get to draw a card and discard a card.
Yep. The piece between worlds, whatever one that was. That's I had to flip. No, it was the bird world. I had to give you the bird.
Yes.
And then I got to draw a card because of it.
Yes.
Just little things like that were when we were done, we're
Yeah. The game seems to be balanced more around a many more player count.
Yes, 100%.
4 plus.
Because there's attacks and then there's group attacks. Group attacks are a lot more powerful because you can attack everybody.
Yeah.
One cool thing I liked was that the negative cards, the Morty waves, where it could be canceled by your genius waves, because that's in the show. That's what keeps Morty around to cancel out his brain waves.
Yeah.
So I like they're worth negative points, but if you have genius waves with them, they don't count for anything. So then it's it's fine to have some of them.
And there didn't seem to be a ton of ways to cull your deck enough to where you'd be worried about getting rid of all the genius waves, which are your standard one money cards, 1 power cards.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there are certain ones themed off drawing summer card. It's what you would expect in a when it was first announced. I was I'm pretty sure I know what it's going to be, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It's not great. I don't think that series has great deck building in it.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing it has is just the sheer quantity of different themes, and like I said, the Street Fighter, the Resident Evil, the Penny Arcade one. There's a whole bunch of different ones. So. And I think they're coming out with the third standalone version of this game, or
sounds
second.
right.
Tales from the Citadels, I believe, is the next one. But I'm okay not playing it again.
Yeah, me too. It was not the kind of deck. I mean, it's still the trench style deck builder, but meh.
Yeah,
hard meh.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather play pretty much any other deck builder.
Yeah, especially because I creamed you in that game just because I kept getting. My ability...
Yeah, there's a boss deck
they're boss
Ricks.
that you just have to spend money to buy.
Yeah.
And
then you get to keep them, and they're really powerful.
Yeah, and so once I got one, it made it easier to get more.
Mm-hmm.
And, So that's not all we played there, though, is it, Jeff?
No, we played... Because the other group started to play this while we were finishing up our... It also went way too long.
Yeah.
And played... Codenames XXL, which was combined with Codenames Pictures XXL.
Well, yeah, that one basically has all 3 versions: the Codename Pictures, and Codenames Duets in it.
Oh, I didn't know it had Duet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least it had the cards in there.
Gotcha.
There are a lot of extra. It looks like they also just threw regular Codenames in that box too, but that box still had plenty of space for so much shit. So
yeah.
So how'd it go, Jeff?
Fine. I mean, it's Codenames.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you have 2 double tall gin and tonics before you play.
So it was my first time playing with pictures at all, but also the pictures and words one
combined.
Okay.
And at one point, so it was a team. It was me, Jeff, and Paul were on a team, and then the 3 others were on their own team. And Paul was the first clue giver, and we were driving him insane with not. We won because they found the assassin.
Okay.
And then Jeff was the clue giver.
Yes.
Which how did that go, Jeff?
Poorly. I don't know. I looked over the board and I got confused on where 1 was versus the grid, and it was like a birdhouse and a beehive, and they both had holes in them. And then I said hole, which also was a word out on the board. And I clearly did not look it over enough to be like, oh, I shouldn't say hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then also the beehive wasn't even part of the grid
Right.
that I was going for.
Yeah, but that wasn't your worst mistake, was it?
And then I did bird, except
you did
there was
bird too.
Yeah.
And what were you trying to go for?
So there was a dinosaur and then the birdhouse that had like a bird foot on the bottom of it. But I missed crow, and then there was also a picture of an egg on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we chose the egg, and we
Yeah.
were like, we got it wrong. And then both Paul and I immediately look, and we're like, oh, fuck, there was crow there. We're like, God
Yeah.
damn it. And like, we're sorry, Jeff. And then our next turn, first thing we do, choose crow. And he was just like, nope, not ours. And then we're like, Jeff, what the fuck?
Yeah. On my next one, I was thinking of just doing like black -1, like not the crow.
Right.
But by then we were so far behind that it didn't matter anymore.
Yes.
And then you did it, and then we
all the clues were fine, and we won.
Yes. They got luck. They almost got it though.
Yeah.
They started just like this one and this one and this one,
Yeah.
and then they just needed one more
Yep.
on like a wild guess and didn't get it.
Yep.
So we were close to losing that one,
But we didn't.
but we didn't.
Nope.
Overall, I'd say it's harder to keep everything in view, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot bigger.
It's a lot bigger, which works if you have a lot of people.
yeah.
But then also, like,
I mean,
if you're playing with both
it's
of them,
huge. Like
Yeah, if you're-
extra large.
yeah, well, and I think when you're playing with both of them, there's that thing where you're like looking at words, you're sort of not really looking at the pictures.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at the pictures, you're not really looking at the words, so it's a lot easier to miss something.
And it's the first time I'd ever played with pictures. Period.
Yes, same here.
I don't know. Still a good game though.
Yeah,
Fun to play with. It's a fun game to bring out for like a bunch of players.
yeah. Also, at one point, we wanted to declare ourselves a winner of that one that we lost, just because me especially, but other people were making V laugh so hard that she could not physically give a clue because she just couldn't stop laughing.
Because we kept doing our usual bullshit of while she's trying to give a clue, keep pointing at other things that aren't things.
Yeah.
And distracting her to the point of not being able to play the game.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at one point, Allison was just like, "Well, you should like." It was like, obviously, you've never played this.
You've clearly
with
never
us
played
if-
this.
Yeah, because we just fill the entire air with bullshit.
Yes. It's how to play the game.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, I think that wraps up the main part of what we've been playing, bringing us to the dramatic return of the Bloody Minute.
Indeed. I played Blood Bowl last
Bum, bum, bum.
Wednesday, I think. I skipped game night to go play Blood Bowl.
Yes, you did.
So I played against the 6s and 7s, which was a Dark Elf team. It was the first match of the season. Luke, which I don't think I've played Luke before. He's may have been in a different bracket or something like that. So it was the Smashing Sarai versus the 6s and 7s. I won fame +1. Chose to receive the kick. Interesting weather in this game for once, because it's almost always nice.
Yeah.
Because you need a 2, a 3, an 11, or 12 to have any interesting weather. We got an 11, which was pouring rain, which is a -1 to all catch, pickup, and something else that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. So that made it hard for me as an agility 3 or 1 team, and him being agility 4 and 5, not much of a problem for.
That sucks.
His 2+ became 3+. Oh no.
Oh.
And then his Ag 5 Blitzer, it turned from a 1+ to a 2+. So who cares? Boy, did I just smash the shit out of his team every single fucking turn. Like, he was rolling really, really bad. I think his first 4 turns were like dodge away 1 reroll 1s for the first half of the first half. It was basically like he wasn't playing the game. He would go to do something. All right, 1 reroll 1. Downside is he didn't always pick up all of his guys, so that meant I wasn't able to smash them as much. But I was rolling my usual below average to average armor rolls, which means I was rolling an 8 or a 7 or nothing. But I was knocking him down a lot and rolling a lot of armor hits, but not actually breaking his armor. until the second part of the first half, of which I started fouling because I was tired of not breaking armor. And
You motherfucker.
yeah. After I had scored, we actually got, on the kickoff, we got a get the ref, which gave everyone each player a free bribe. So that definitely bumped up the fouling, which my skank did right into his witch elf's head and cast out his witch elf for the rest of the game, which was nice. Did a couple other fouls in there and got one banned, but I got out another blitzer, which I'll keep a skink banned for a blitzer. I was probably hitting and knocking down like 4 guys a turn, which is pretty good, except the parts where all I was getting was knockouts. So my knockout crown continues. I think I ended the first half with 1 guy in the casualty box and 4 in the KO box. He had enough inducements to get a Bloodweiser keg, which gave him a +1 to that, which he was able to bring in 3 of the 4 that were in the box. Second half went about the same. He was able to move the ball a little more because he received it, of course. He was almost able to score in there with, I had a really unlucky ball pickup multiple turns in a row. Like, I have a 4, reroll 4. I basically used all my rerolls in the second half just to try and pick up the ball.
Oh, damn.
Because I need 4s, which is not great. It got an unlucky bounce to the point of where he could pick it up and go for it to get to the end zone, except he, once again, his unluckiness struck again with a 1 reroll 1 dodge, fell down, and off he went. I was able to sort of just hold on to the ball until the end, basically, and just won 1-0 with a whole 1 casualty to my side because the other one I got on a foul and everything else was a KO. Yeah. But he didn't really take any. He took a serious injury, which he apothecaried into a badly hurt, which went into reserves, but it didn't matter because we never scored on the second half, so he never even came back in.
Okay.
Yeah. Besides that, my Croc's got his second skill, finally, the first game of the second season, and no doubles, gave him break tackle, which gives him a dodge on, like, basically agility 5. So he can dodge away, and if he doesn't roll 6, I can be like, all right, break tackle, and then he uses his strength instead of his agility, his strength 5 instead of his agility 1 for the agility roll.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's basically what my Sorai will be doing, because then they can actually be mobile and not get stuck with a lineman in front of them and just keep having to try and hit them or dodge away on like a 5+, which is not great. They get to dodge away on like a 1+.
So
You always fail on a 1, but
okay.
yeah. But doing it at that, using your strength value instead of your agility value.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Next up is going to be Matt and his undead team.
Yeah.
Or necromantic team. And so yeah, we're going to play that next week. So I won't have any for next Monday, but the week following.
Hearing necromantic just sounds like necro romantic, which just makes me think of that movie Warm Bodies, where like the zombie falls in love with the person.
Yes. That was a pretty decent movie.
It wasn't too
I remember
bad.
it was I mean, he did name his team the Damned Romantics.
Okay.
So
Cool.
he's keeping up with the theme at least.
That's good.
And they're all Shakespeare themed names, Romeo and Juliet, etc.
Ah. Well, there you go. That's
First win of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Triumphant return to the Bloody Minute.
Indeed.
I'm sure it won't last.
No. It's going to be a rough season. A lot of good teams.
Cool. Well, with Bloody Minute done, that concludes the entire banter portion of the show. And we can move on to some news and Kickstarters
Yes.
here in just a second.
First up in news, because we're psychic, USAopoly has once again announced a new version of Talisman, Batman Super Villains Edition. Here's another version of Talisman.
Yep.
With a theme slapped on it.
Yeah, and I think we don't need to talk any more about it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Just to know that it feels good being right.
Yeah. Prescient.
Prescient, yes. Next up in news, we have a Lanterns Dice Lights in the Sky, a roll and write.
So I think I've ranted about the trend of making everything the dice game and like everything roll and writes and stuff on it. I don't see why Lanterns needed it. Lanterns is already a pretty light, accessible game.
It seems a little different.
A little different.
Polyominoes are involved.
Yeah, so you roll dice and choose which colored lanterns that you can fill in on your score sheet. And you earn gifts to do special actions and things. I mean, the mechanics are different, but what you're doing seems a lot the same. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to actually look at a rule book, which I don't think is...
Yeah, there's really not enough information here to really understand how best it plays. Yeah. Beth Sobel is an artist, so the art's great, but the art was great in Lanterns too. Like, you know. So.
And I'm just curious because like one of the big things of Lanterns was getting the cards on other people's turns and like planning so they couldn't get certain cards and stuff like that. And if everybody has if I can't tell if everyone's just going to have their own roll and write in which I'm assuming that they do. In which case, I'm curious to see if they're going to try and introduce that into this at all, or if it's just going to be strictly a roll and then choose which ones you want and then that's it. Like sort of getting rid of some of the interactivity.
Don't know. But yeah, so more information on that. It comes out in May. So I'm sure we'll start hearing more about how it actually plays and if it's any good when people start getting their hands on it.
Yeah, only $25.
Hopefully it'll be a copy of Geekway or something, because I wouldn't mind trying that.
Yeah.
Speaking of things we're not sure anybody actually needs.
Next up is the Digital Life Pad, which is a sort of digital chalkboard kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's a 9-inch little pad that you have a stylus that you can write on it with, and then there's a clear button and a lock button to keep you from clearing it inadvertently. And supposedly is good for 40,000 uses, and MSRP's for $30. They market it specifically as like a score pad kind of thing, and it kind of fits along the line of a lot of their other stuff they've done. This is coming from Heyo, collector supplies company. So they've done a bunch of storage boxes and playmats for CCGs, card sleeves, and a special brand of dice. And so this is just like another game accessory, which is what they kind of do.
Yeah, and just to clarify too, the 40,000 uses is because it has a self-contained battery, and then so it's like after the 40, like that's when the battery run out. So
and then you're just
I would assume so. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what 40,000 uses means, like touches of the thing or filling up the entire screen or anything like that. So
so my grandma has something that's a lot like this that is ancient. She's had it for like 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like an Etch-a-Sketch, only it's like a digital. Like it feels more like a pen on a paper than like a stylus on a tablet screen. And writes really similar, but you push a button and it wipes it. And like so it's not a new technology by any stretch.
I've used one in an escape room.
So I'm guessing that there's some interaction where like pushing the button to erase it, like as a use, like it sends a charge that like drops whatever the things are or something.
Yeah, I don't.
That would be my assumption.
I only vaguely have seen that in that escape room we did, but I don't think I ever used it. I just sort of saw it while other people were solving a puzzle or something on it.
$30 MSRP on this though, if you want to have a handy little score sheet that's
it's like an electronic dry erase board.
Yeah,
9-inch dry erase board.
Sure,
without digital erase.
Yeah, so
it seems neat.
Yeah, and $30 doesn't seem too much for it. Like I think that's like the upper amount.
Yeah, that's the ceiling.
Yeah.
If
they're
like
also MSRP, so maybe you can get it under.
If they're like $50, they'd be like, fuck that. Just go get like an Amazon. Like get a.
How hard is it to keep like a ream of paper in there with a pen?
Yes.
So, that's that. Now we can talk about games.
Yeah. Up next is Unmatched, coming from a partnership with Restoration Games and Mondo Games, which is a redoing of what game was it again?
Star Wars Epic Duels, I believe.
Star Wars Epic Duels. Basically a new game using that system.
Yeah, so it's a miniature dueling game where they're using a bunch of different film legend type people. Where you get a deck of cards that fits your fighting style, and then you mix and match fighters, and then go fight. Like,
have you played Star Wars Epic Duels before?
I have not. I don't know really anything about it.
It came out in 2002.
It was like prequel themed stuff.
Yes, it was. And I want to say like in the last 6 months or so, someone started bringing that game to play because apparently it's pretty.
Yeah, that and Queen's Gambit, I think, were some of those Like
fucking Queen's Gambit.
that era of like
yeah,
licensed Star Wars games.
one of the fews.
Yes.
So the base game comes with 4 characters, Sinbad, Medusa, Alice from Alice in Wonderland, and King Arthur. There's special abilities depending on who you are. The one they clearly show is King Arthur, where after combat, if he has 4 or less health but isn't defeated, he refills to 8 health by drinking out of the Holy Grail. They also have here a expansion that I don't know if it comes with it, but it's Robin Hood versus Bigfoot. So you get a Robin Hood figure and a Bigfoot figure. And then they have planned releases for Buffy the Vampire Slayer coming later this year, and then a Bruce Lee solo pack that's coming out in the initial wave as well. So, yeah, you get different stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the next restoration game.
Yep. And obviously they weren't getting that Star Wars license for it, but I think this is an interesting enough theme for it.
I do really like the art style.
Yes, I would agree with that.
At least for the cards. The board is meh.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, but also I don't know what those colors mean of the different things, but
I'm guessing some kind of favored terrain types or
maybe.
something.
I don't know. But like I said, I feel like I've heard good things about it, and I trust Restoration Games to modernize it.
Yeah.
So, like they did with all the other ones that they've done so far.
I haven't played a single game from them.
Yeah, you have.
What?
That card not Intolerance. Indecision. No, that card. The trick taking game that we played.
Indulgence.
Indulgence. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Indulgence is pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't played anything else from them.
Good.
Glad we solved that.
Yes.
Yeah. Next up on news.
Next up in news, we need to talk.
What do we need to talk about?
This game called We Need to Talk. It's a
game.
It's a game about interventions where the person doesn't know what the intervention is about.
Okay, so it's like Spyfall, but for interventions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like some of the different problems you can have is like uncontrollable interpretive dancing or a neurotic inability to turn right.
Yes. So there's not a lot of details here about the actual gameplay, but essentially you're separated into groups where it's one person versus like everybody else. But it's kind of a cooperative-ish game, semi-co-op maybe, semi-coop, where the group of people are
The concerned friends.
They are trying to broach a delicate topic. So they're trying not to outright say what your problem is, but try to get you help with it. They gain points for dragging it on as long as possible, but if you never guess what they think you have wrong with you, what they're interventioning on, they get no points. They lose. Vice versa, if you're the person who's being intervened, you are trying to figure out from their very direct or indirect questioning what they think your problem is. And so I don't know any other mechanics behind it, besides that brief overview of like kind of the idea. So
seems like a neat idea.
It's a good idea, and I could see it being great if it's done smoothly and cleanly enough.
I think part of that is it seems like so they they also mentioned here there's like 3 different rounds that can go from like just broaching the subject to the emotional appeal and offering a solution. And it seems like I was saying with Spyfall, it's one that will live or die based on the group that it's playing with.
Yeah.
Because if it's very open-ended, obviously, like you're saying, we don't have the rules for it necessarily yet, but it's like, how vague do you want to be super vague, or do you want to be pointed but in a way that seems vague? There's just sort of a bunch of questions in the air right now. And also it's like, is everybody asking questions, or is it like one at a time? Do you have to answer the questions? I don't like.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's a cool idea for a game.
Yeah, it's a really clever idea. I could see this one also being one where I feel like it could very rapidly move into problematic territory. Like
Also
people
true.
who have maybe been through an actual intervention might not appreciate this game. As well as depending on what kinds of topics you have. Like as long as they're not really nonsensical
No,
shit.
it seems like that's what they're doing.
It says on the
that
box
should be
about
fine.
ridiculous problems.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be anything. I hope that anyone would
It's
actually
a bunch
go
of
through.
ridiculous stuff, and then it's just drugs and you're like, whoa, okay, this is
Yeah.
you don't want
Maybe it's
that.
an intervention about someone's board game problems.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, a game like Cards Against Humanity, like, although it says it's for terrible people, you don't know, like, how terrible certain things are going to be. So you don't know, like, is it terrible because it's, like, terrible puns? Or is it terrible because it's incredibly racist and misogynistic? And so, like, they might say they're nonsensical things, but it could, I feel, have room to move into cautiously optimistic. There's room for this to go wrong, and I hope it's not.
I mean, the example card is, we need to talk about your uncontrollable interpretive dance.
I was saying, or the inability to turn right and shit like that. So
yeah, hopefully we'll hear more about it in the future.
Last up in news, we have the wide world of controversy with this Age of Steam nightmare that continues to truck along on those railroad tracks.
Yep.
To hell.
Yeah. This isn't the first time it's come up. It's pretty much, I think, since like 2009, but it came up recently again with new information and shit just because the Age of Steam Deluxe Kickstarter just came out.
Yes, being ran by Eagle Griffin Games. And so Martin Wallace kind of came crawling out of the woodworks, so to speak. Like you said, nobody's really heard much about this. It kind of simmered. And then he came out with a couple posts over on BGG where he was like, hey, this is bullshit. They stole my game. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. And ranted and raved. And then for the first time that I had ever seen, like, I'd heard Martin Wallace's claims before. I had never heard John Bohr's side of the story.
From Winsome Games.
From Winsome.
Yeah.
And he came out and sent out a statement about it, which also apparently in this statement, one of the crazy things, he admits to using pseudonyms a lot. So he is, anytime you see Harry Wu, David V.H. Peters, or Eddie Robbins, those are all him, which means that he's basically done every game Winsome's ever done. There's not other designers doing Winsomes. Yeah. It's just all him. And so it's kind of all over the place. I'm really not sure who, it's so much he said, she said, back and forth. He said, I guess in this specific instance. Part of me wants to believe Martin Wallace is the aggrieved game designer who had his design stolen, but somehow in all of his posts, to me personally, he comes across just really butthurt. He made a simple mistake at some point and didn't properly protect his IP, and he lost it, and now he's got really sour grapes about it. Whereas John Bohr's response seemed more cohesive and actual dude.
Here's evidence how.
Yeah.
I was reading something too. I forget who it was, but somebody got an arbiter between the two. So, a neutral third party. And then I think it might have even been Christian Peterson or something like that. But it's that arbiter ruled in
Winsome's favor.
Yes. So it definitely seems like he has a better claim on it. But obviously, like you said, he said, and this other guy said.
A
lot of he said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The first time it popped up, Martin Wallace's entire statement was, as many of you will be relatively new to BGG, you may not be aware of the history behind Age of Steam. To cut to the chase, this game was stolen from me by John Bohr and published without my consent by Eagle Griffin. I received no royalties from the sales of the game. The official version of the game is known as Steam, and the rights are held by FFG. At some point in the future, they may be releasing a new version of the game. Just something to mull over, Martin Wallace. People are like, yeah, here it comes again. Mm-hmm. And then he published a much longer one where he goes a little bit more into detail and talks about how he thought nobody would actually license from John, and he was wrong about that. That there's been issues he throws Christian Peterson under the bus, saying he's completely in the wrong for revealing any of the details of the mediation, and that it was done to intentionally hurt Martin Wallace.
Yeah.
It gets all over the place.
Well, and then some of it started going towards Eagle Griffin Games too, which they're like, look, we got the license fair and square, and we by all the laws of man, it's good on our rights. And apparently at one point, Wallace even because he's doing a lot of this shit on BGG too.
Oh yeah, it's all over BGG.
And one of the things he did was he he was like, all right, well, here's something you could do. You could, I'm willing to allow you to place my name on the box and then cite me as the designer for it in return for a one-off payment of $30,000. and like you said, a lot of people are just like, this doesn't need to be public. This is this is just a bunch of two people bitching at each other. Yeah. And it's just sort of, I'm pretty sure it's souring, like that Kickstarter a decent amount, because I've seen a lot of people that are like, I was interested, but now all this crap is coming up. So
drama.
Yeah. Hashtag drama.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Which it's one of those weird things too, where he had previously signed a contract with Eagle Games for Age of Steam development, and then they went bankrupt, and Eagle Griffin became Eagle Griffin, and he feels they used that to get the rights to Age of Steam somehow, and I don't know. There's all kinds of sketch things going on. The one thread is just full of people calling him out too. Like, you say they stole it, but earlier in this other statement, you admit that per the laws of trademarks and the fact you can't trademark mechanics and things, you don't really have a case. So yeah, it's disheartening to see. Like, this really, I feel like, should be a lot more private than it is.
No, that's what I was saying, yeah. And what a lot of people are saying, so.
Quit dragging this out into... But I also get, like, if he really was wrong, then there's no way any of us will ever know unless somebody comes out with some damning proof. Yeah. But if he was wrong, then I can understand why he would be like, dude, I got fucked, and they're making a lot of money off of something that's mine.
And why he would bring it up now.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but it's also...
Unfortunately, he doesn't do a good job of coming off as like I was legitimately wrong.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it too,
he comes off a lot like, man, those guys kind of got lucky in a minor issue where I oversaw, or like there's some oversight, and
yeah, not great.
So whole bunch of information on it. There will be links in the show notes if you want to go do your own digging into the drama and make your own decisions. But yeah, it's going all over the place. I've seen so many different threads on it on Reddit and BGG lately. Just constant.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Which I think makes it a really good time to move on. That's it for news, which makes it a really good time to move on over to Kickstarters, where we have...
First up in Kickstarters is Age of Steam Deluxe Edition. Woo!
So it's time to you to make up that decision now.
Yes. We are not above capitalizing on controversy.
Yeah. So. Quite well funded, $133,000 of its $30,000 goal, 1,600 backers, and just about a week left to go, which you can pledge at its most popular level for $79.
Yeah, so this is the deluxe edition of Steam. It's been a long time since it's been released, especially all packaged nicely together.
Age of Steam. You just said Steam.
Oh, yeah. Age of Steam.
Yes.
Yeah, because Steam is
a different thing
else entirely.
Yeah. FFG holds that. Were you even listening, Adrian?
Jesus. To my own words. Age of Steam, and it's done by Eagle Griffin. They went and got O'Toole to re-envision and recreate a bunch of the art and graphics for the box, boards, display boards, all of that. Upgraded a bunch of components, and have packaged it all into this Kickstarter.
Have you played this before?
I have played Age of Steam Ireland, which is not one of the maps that are included in this Kickstarter. I played it 3 players the very first time I ever went to go hang out and game with the heavy cardboard people. And I won. Felt pretty good about that.
What did you think of the game?
I liked Age of Steam a lot. It's another one that's pretty simple from a rules perspective, but has a lot of like interesting decisions. It's much more of a pick up and deliver type of train game, whereas like 18XX is a stock management type of train game.
Yes.
So this one feels more train-ish.
Yeah.
Other than like, because you could make 18XX and have it be trucks running on roads and you're building roads or something. Like you could re-theme that and still have similar mechanics.
You could have
I mean, you could with this one too, because it's just picking things up and moving them around.
Yeah, it could be squirrel themed and it's about nuts for hibernation.
Sure. There's a lot of different ways you can.
There's a lot of ways you can make it more interesting.
It's just a war game now.
This Kickstarter comes with a few different maps. It comes with Rust Belt, Southern U.S., Western U.S., Germany, Barbados, and St. Lucia. And they all have like different layouts of where water is and mountains and cities and things like that. So they all play fairly different. Depending on what maps you play, it plays 1 to 6 players.
And I assume those maps actually add quite a bit of variability into the gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, even playing on the same map, there's a lot of, like, when you set up, you draw cubes for different resources out of a bag, and they go onto cities randomly, and then onto like a market kind of randomly. So there's a lot of replayability on just one map. So giving you 6 maps gives you a ton of different options for playing this game. Some of them, like the St. Lucia and Barbados, are small maps, so they're probably going to be better for fewer people unless you want a really tight game. Whereas like the Western U.S. map is big. There's a lot of space to go play around, so it'd be good for like a 6-player game. They've also unlocked through the Kickstarter France and Poland maps, and whole bunch of different stuff. The 6 base maps are all on double-sided player boards, so depending on which one you're playing, you just flip it over. Upgraded components. They are doing slightly thicker track tiles, which I think is really nice.
Wait, go ahead and talk about the deluxe components, because I want to say something about that.
Okay.
Start talking about this thing.
Yeah. Well, because you were mentioning them.
Yeah. There's new city tiles that really stand out, especially more than I feel like I remember the city tiles from base Age of Steam standing out. There's money, which is actually coming as poker chips.
Is it correct colored poker chips?
No.
It is not.
Okay.
Which has
Paul upset.
Paul really upset.
Yeah.
I want to say some people, but I don't know if it's really anyone else.
I have no
other than
idea.
I've seen Paula said there were other people.
Yeah, there are.
But in our group and in Slack, Paul's the only one that's complaining about it. But I think that's because everybody can count on Paul to complain about it.
Yes.
Paul's got our back.
I see his complaint more here than I did with the iron clays from brass, because the iron clays didn't look anything like poker chips. These look like poker chips.
They do.
If you're going to make something that looks like a poker chip, you should go with standard, like, well-accepted poker chip colors for different denominations, and not just decide to throw caution to the wind and make your 25s blue.
Will they be numbered? Like, the examples they have here don't have, like, currency numbers on them.
They do in the components list section.
But the lower down on the, like...
Yeah.
On the examples and stuff like that, they're just blank.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if those are older or newer, because there's even a picture of some that do have the numbers on them. If they have the numbers, it's a little better because it's harder to get confused just looking at them. But especially like if you're used to playing poker and counting a stack, and you're like, oh, that red stack, it counts up to this much. But nope, just kidding. Those are completely different denomination.
Yeah, I think those are 2 optional buys that are going to be different. So
that aren't going to have denominations on them. So I guess if you're used to poker colors, you can just use whatever color that's obvious for whatever denomination, which I have no idea what those are, but I'm sure Paul will correct us on that.
I'm sure he will.
Or inform us.
Sure. Then the other thing that's kind of weird for deluxe components for this is that the track ownership discs are wood discs. Turn track, town discs are just discs, and then the goods cubes are just plain cubes, which is what they were already.
So I have seen 3 different opinions on these deluxe things. Is one, obviously it's not deluxe enough. You say deluxe, and like you just upgrade like the tiles, and that's about it. And so you're paying the deluxe price. I've also seen some people say, this is about as deluxe as I want to see this game. And then I've also seen people say they deluxed it too much. Like, they liked that the track tiles were thinner. So they weren't going to make everybody happy with this.
No, and that's, as much as I love train games and, like, especially heavy train games, train gamers, at least on, like, all the ones I've met in person are great, and they're totally reasonable, and they don't make these kinds of ridiculous arguments. So I don't know who these people are who get so bent out of shape about train games online, but online train gamers are the worst. They get all bent out of shape about all kinds of stupid minutia.
Yeah. I appreciate that the track tiles like have track on them, and then it's not just like a black line.
Yeah.
It's like little things. Obviously, I get if you want to be more minimalistic, but there's still a bottom floor that you have to at least get to that, I think.
Yeah. I think especially for Age of Steam, where you don't have like multiple upgrade levels of track as much, like it's not as tied to different like eras of the game, phases of the game, like 18XX. It makes sense to have the light green background, so it looks like a field at least, kind of.
Yes, yeah.
And then train track as your straight line. Like, you can still clearly see where the track goes and what it does. hell, I think it makes some of the bridges and things more obvious what they do, which is awesome. And I don't know, I think it looks great. At least the track tiles and the boards. It's clean, it's simple. It's not like the boards are very simple artistically. They're not overdone or overarted to where it would obfuscate what you're trying to do on the board. You could easily parse the information and go from there. And I think that's great. I think 18XX could benefit from doing more along these lines. Like there's a little bit of a difference because you do clearly need to show track from being in phase 1, 2, or 3. And there's a distinct upgrade progression where you need to have this laid and then this and then this.
Yeah.
But hell, I'm sure a clever graphics design artist could come up with a way to do that in a clean, easy way to see it that isn't just green, yellow, and brown.
Yeah.
The only other complaint I've seen is the font on some of the player boards, not the player boards, the display boards, was getting a little hard to read, I think. It was the one for like the select action thing.
Some of them, the font is thin or italicized. And so
it's a very long word with a very not great font.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not finding a very good picture of it anywhere here to really clearly see, but the one I can see that's zoomed in the most, I can easily read what everything is on the select action determine player order part of the board. Like, I don't think it's hard.
But it depends on where that is when you're actually playing it and how far away that is
like
from
you said,
you.
this one's zoomed in.
Yeah.
Versus like if it was, say it was over here or something like that. So
it stands out especially considering you can see in that picture just to the right of it a different board that has nice simple block letters that are easy to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do have to say this is the best looking choo-choo game I've seen.
Yeah. The main issue I think so obviously it's well funded. It's going to fund. People are buying it even despite the controversy, even despite people complaining about it. But I think the other kind of weird thing here is people who are really into Age of Steam probably already own a lot of Age of Steam. And I don't know how compatible people will feel that old maps.
Is it easily available currently?
I mean, some of the maps are just print and play.
Yeah.
So as long as you have a base game of Age of Steam.
But the base game of Age of Steam is still easily available?
I think relatively.
Okay.
I think I passed up a chance recently to get a copy. But I don't know. Yeah. I'm definitely interested in it. I'm glad I have a new job that pays well because hopefully I'll get a paycheck before this thing wraps up in, no, I guess I won't get a paycheck by then. I might have enough money knowing that a paycheck is coming by the time this wraps up. You can also back for $1 and get access to the pledge manager.
Yeah, there you go.
So I think that's what I'll probably end up doing. The pledge upgrade price in the pledge manager for Age of Steam Deluxe will be slightly higher than the Kickstarter campaign pledge price. I don't like that.
So what you do, say it's going to be like $5 more, just do $5 now, so then when you pay for it, you're still paying the Kickstarter price.
Yeah, there you go.
You're paying a reservation fee.
Yeah, but they don't tell you how much more it's going to be, so I won't know that.
Then just assume something and go over that, so that way if it's less than that, you will be pleasantly surprised.
Depends on the legal fees.
Yes.
Sure. Jesus. All right. That's our first Kickstarter.
Jesus, that was
Yeah. So Age of Steam is now done.
Yes.
And we can move on to our next Kickstarter.
Which is Key Market 2 New Edition. And well-funded, 30,000 of its $13,000 goal, 407 backers, still 3 weeks left to pledge this one, which you can for $58.
Yeah, so Key Market, it was the 6th game in the Key series, and was published a while back, and people have been wanting reprints for a long time, and so R&R Games was finally like, all right, let's do it. R&D Games. I don't know where I got R&R. Rest and relaxation. It's what I need in my life.
Because their Kickstarter name is R&D Games.
Right, but I said R&R.
You said
Oh, yes.
I was like, no, it's R&D.
Yes, it is indeed R&D.
Yeah. So this is pretty much just a straight reprint. Not really
Even though it's called
changing
2, but not really.
It's just Key Market 2 on the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Even the box is still just going to say Key Market.
Yep.
Yeah, there's going to be 4 new guilds, and they're updating a number of the original guilds to make it more challenging. But other than that, not a whole lot changing there. So if you've been interested in Key Market and have not been able to find a copy, you're in luck because you can just back it on Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's shipping in October, so not even that long of a wait.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot that goes into the key games component-wise, so probably pretty easy to get them printed and sent out.
They still look nice, but
I do really like the key games.
Yeah.
That's it. Key Market 2 there. So, next up.
Next up is Paladins of the West Kingdom. Very well funded, $385,000 of its $15,000 goal. Over 5,200 backers, but just about a week left to pledge, which you can for $65.
So this is the latest game from Shem Phillips, who did Raiders of the North and some of those.
A lot of those.
All the Raiders games.
Raiders of the North that we reviewed.
Yes.
And then a lot of other games that we haven't had a chance to review.
Or play.
Or even play. It's a worker drafting action selection game, plays 1 to 4 players, where you are building fortifications, commissioning monks, and defending the city, because those are things that paladins do. And it's the second in the West Kingdom trilogy.
Yep.
So following Architects of the West Kingdom. It's got really good art, like all of the other Shem Phillips games, Garfield games line of some things, depending on where
people of some sort of cardinal direction location.
They've got tax-friendly shipping to a whole bunch of different areas. It's EU-friendly.
Because this is originally from New Zealand, I believe.
Oof, I didn't know that.
Yeah, originally developed by New Zealanders, or whatever they call themselves.
Kiwis.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Point of the game is you are taking on the role of paladins. There's 12 unique ones in the game, and you're trying to get the most points, which you get by doing those outposts, fortifications, getting monks, and confronting outsiders who are trying to sneak in. Each round you get the help of one of those specific unique paladins to gather workers to carry out those different tasks, and you slowly increase your faith, strength, and influence, which affect final score and help you do different actions better. So like if you have more faith, you can get more monks and things like that. And it plays out over 7 rounds, so pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and there is a bunch of pledge levels if you missed out on Architects of the West Kingdom and all their promos and metal coins. It's like $106 for that pledge if you want to catch up on it.
Yeah. You can also go play it over on Tabletop Simulator. So you can, if you got Tabletop Simulator on Steam, you can jump on there and give it a shot and see how you like it.
Yeah. This is definitely a good game to jump on if you live near the New Zealand, Australia area, because shipping is actually quite inexpensive for you for once, because the designers are from New Zealand.
There you go.
Yep. I think it was like $8 shipping to Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the cheapest you've ever seen shipping to Australia.
That's usually 10 times that.
Yeah. We would know. We shipped a game to Australia.
Yes.
But that's Paladins of the West Kingdom. So go check that out if you're interested in more stuff from Garfield Games and Shem Phillips.
Next up on Kickstarter / last up is Cutiemals, Northern Clans. Basically cute Blood Bowl team minis. This is well funded, $69,000 of its $2,200 goal. 621 backers and just about a week left to go. And you can pledge for each team for roughly $62, of which there are like 6 or 7 different teams.
Bears, walruses, bunnies, cats, and penguins are the ones I see. So 5 off the top there.
Okay. These are really cool Blood Bowl miniatures.
And unique too, I would say.
Yeah. There might be something else similar to this, but I have not seen it. So there's like the Urslev team, which is it looks like Norse. Easy to make into like a Norse team, I think.
It's like polar bears.
Yeah, because there's like a Kislev team, which is technically the Slan Frogs one, which this could also be, but I think there's only 2. I can only go off because they never can use like, this is basically Norse, or this is basically Chaos. You just sort of have to wing it.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it can really be used for whatever you want because...
I feel like the penguins, the pinkings, look more Norse to me.
So those seem to be dwarves
okay.
because the Berserker would be the
Oh yeah,
And then the
played
runner
Word
dwarves.
answers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know what the Mytho Wolf ones would be. So it's easy to proxy these into kind of a bunch of different teams, except some of these later ones that are really cool.
I'm pretty sure the porks. I'm pretty sure those are orcs.
Yeah, the Dwalrus.
See, I would have thought those were dwarves.
Yeah, those ones are dwarves. The Pinkings. I don't know what those would be.
I bet Ant knows.
Yeah,
Ant sent us an email and tell us what all these teams are supposed to be.
yeah, that could be like a Necro team with like the wolves. But they all look amazing.
Yeah, they do.
The paint jobs they did on these is really good. The porks are definitely black orcs. The Hello Kittens seem to be corn, I think.
Horned cats.
It's
Yeah.
the Hello Kittens, but
Yeah. Cat raiders. Hero
yeah.
cat.
The bringers, Urk bringers, those are clearly Nurgle.
Right.
Those are really good. These are all really, really good. And then the Chaos Fluffers, clearly Chaos.
I can't. Fluffer has an image in my mind.
They'll just rip that off and throw it in
Yep.
the bushes, sir.
And these are bunnies, basically.
Yeah.
That look, yeah.
But they all have like horns like beastmen do. These are definitely the coolest looking and cutest Blood Bowl minis I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah,
The
and they mentioned,
cheerleaders look pretty funny, too.
they mentioned
Yeah.
up towards the top that they wanted them to be like kind of cutesy, but also make them much simpler from a mold perspective so that they'd be easier to paint.
Yeah.
And I think they really nailed that.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd agree with that.
They aren't ridiculously overly detailed like fucking what was
Almost
that?
anything.
Rising Sun, where like the dragons had thousands of little individual teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing like that, but it still looks really good painted up.
Yeah. Like big, bold surface areas for you to be able to paint with good color, but not have to worry about a lot of detail. But you can do that as well. The balls down lower are really good. I like the baby seal ball.
Yep.
Some of the like little add-on stuff you can get separately, which is super cool. They do have just drawings for certain like sideline stuff, like the mages and stuff, but there are some finished models in there as well.
Yeah. Tons of options.
Yeah, these all look really cool. I think Ant is actually
Yeah,
He is
he's
a
back.
backer.
That's like I said, that's what original. Like I saw because I follow him on there, and I saw him back these, and I was like, "What are these?" And I was like, "Jeff might want to talk about these."
Yeah, these come from Grebo Games.
We've been doing it for 13 years.
Yeah, the Grebo does good stuff. We have a lot of people that have done a lot of teams from them. This being some of the more original I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah. Really like it.
Yeah, and you could probably proxy a lot of these different teams for sort of whatever you want because they kind of like look like a thrower. They could be a human team if you really wanted to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just not any official tournaments.
Just no elves, no GW tournaments. But I don't.
When's the last time you even?
Never. I've never done a GW tournament. I think like the Chaos Cup, or maybe it's even just the Blood Bowl in the UK.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they just actually announced the Halfling team today.
Okay.
That was posted on. I think Ant had it on Facebook on our Kill League. The Halflings look really cool, but there's no Treeman that comes in the box. Those are clearly going to be like $40 minis that you have to buy outside of your team box.
Sounds about right.
Because it's only Halflings and
Yeah.
Treeman, so.
And you need the treatment.
And you're not playing Halflings without Treeman, and you need 2 Treeman.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an expensive team.
Mm-hmm.
They look good though. That's it for Kickstarters.
That is it for Kickstarters.
Got a little Blood Bowl in that Kickstarter.
Yeah. Blood Bowls all over this episode.
I'm sure Ant will correct me on wherever actual GW tournaments are.
Yes.
But everyone only just plays NAF, so
Right.
NAF's better anyways.
Yeah.
Right on.
That's it for Kickstarter.
That is it. Which brings us over to Jeff's favorite section of the show, listener feedback.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email, like these fine people did. First up's Jeff Calgary with episode 133. Hey, MHGG. I do look at the show notes, primarily to show how far ahead to skip past the bloody minutes, so thank you for those. Sorry, Jeff.
I gotta think that's like 80% of the use. Or it's 100% of the use of show notes is related to Blood Bowl, whether it's Ant skipping directly to Blood Bowl or people like Jeff skipping past Blood
Yeah.
Bowl.
Jeff Calgary.
Yes.
Strangely enough, I found myself getting off the bus while listening to you guys and then realizing I just spent my whole commute listening to Adrian's job saga, Zach's latest Lyft shenanigans, and you guys figuring out more ways to give Jeff a hard time about his leg. What the fuck am I doing with my life, I wonder? Then quickly go meh and carry on. So keep up the most podcast, Jeff Calgary. P.S. Jeff, as plain as the dark background that is Mad Max. So you mean it nailed the theme? Yes, it nailed the boring, drab, stupid theme. I went back and actually 100% of the map on that too. So, yeah.
Well done.
It was, and the game was just okay, and I still 100%ed the stupid thing.
Sounds like maybe it was just a slight bit better than okay.
Still, it was painful the whole time. I didn't like it, but I did it.
I mean, that sounds like the world of Mad Max.
Yeah.
You don't like anything in it, you just do it.
Yep. This one comes from Jake of Draft Mechanic fame, titled Sorry. And then he has a picture here from Bojangles, which is definitely a very North Carolinian thing.
It's from the. I mean, it's South in
Is it a
general,
South
too.
thing?
Yeah,
Southern
it's in.
thing.
It's in Georgia too.
Sorry for the inconvenience, but right now we is out of ham.
Taped to the.
Taped to the box.
Yeah.
So is there any context behind this that I'm missing?
No, none that I'm aware of.
I feel like we talked. Did we mention Bojangles at any point?
Maybe a long time ago.
Okay.
I don't know. I do love the we is out of ham.
Yeah.
I don't remember loving Bojangles, but I don't know if I've ever had like fresh enough Bojangles.
No.
It was always like someone went out and got it and brought it back.
No.
Maybe it'd be better.
I liked the chicken biscuits were really good.
Yeah, that's vaguely what I remember. I mean, it's been over a decade since I lived anywhere that had Bojangles, so my memory is fuzzy at best.
Next email is from Jonathan. Winsome being the title. Hi, M-High Game G's. There was a mention of Winsome on a recent episode, I think in relation to Irish Gauge getting reprinted by Capstone. And I just wanted to add a little information regarding what Winsome actually is. I have never personally received any of their games, but here's my understanding of how the company and their business model works. Winsome is run by John Borer,
Guy that we were talking about with Age of Steam stuff.
Yes. Each year, he makes and releases a collection of about 3 games designed and developed by himself and or other designers, including Tom Russell in the case of Irish Gauge. He makes only about 150 copies of each year's collection by hand and ships them out to people who are subscribed to his collection. How do you get a hold of these games or become subscribed? Every year around when he is about to print the new set, he sends out an email to everyone who got last year's set asking to confirm if they're in for the new set. If you're in, you then send him a money order for the cost of the set. I think it's either 100 or 150, but I forget the exact amount.
This is giving Zach a migraine.
Yeah. That is only the only form of payment accepted. If some of those people do not want to pay for the new set for whatever reason, he goes to the waiting list. How do you get on the waiting list? You join the Winsome Collection Yahoo group and ask to be put on it. Yes, you read that correctly. Yahoo groups are still a thing, and joining one is the only way to sign up to have a shot at buying the Winsome Collection.
One of the main 18XX groups, I think, is also a Yahoo group.
Not surprised. Then you get the games. Open the package, which is essentially a plastic Ziploc sleeve. And at this point, Zach has had an aneurysm.
I'm pretty sure your blood clot went from your lungs directly into my brain.
Yeah, yep.
So now I just wait for the sweet embrace of death to
Yes.
take me.
I'm glad that it maybe saved Jeff.
Yeah.
The blood clot has left Jeff.
Yeah,
So Jeff at least gets to live. It's not like you got a new blood clot.
yeah.
And I lost both my co-hosts.
At this point, Zach has had an aneurysm because most of them are literally printed on construction paper. Usually the games are train themed.
Weird.
And may include games like Irish Gauge, Wabash Cannonball, and 18XX games. You are mostly paying for the rule set, which John asks subscribers not to post online. Many people end up printing their own, better quality components to play the games with. The main way the company makes money is selling the licenses to the games they design and publish as part of the collection once they become well regarded, and there is demand for them to be printed in a way that doesn't look like a second grader made them, like what happened when Capstone picked up Irish Gauge. Most of this info is coming secondhand via heavy cardboard, and I may have forgotten some details, so hopefully if anyone has ever gotten any Winsome games, they can write in to correct any mistakes, but hopefully I have conveyed how insanely weird Winsome actually is.
That's good. It's giving me something else to avoid.
So Winsome is so weird that even I kind of like take a step back.
Also, thank you, Jonathan.
Yes, thank you for the awesome email.
Yeah.
And my rolls of pennies.
Yeah, like, because I've known for a long time that Winsome was a pain in the ass to get on the list for, and it's a very limited list. And then I don't super like the idea of like, here's a handful of games that you may or may not like. Pay me hundreds of dollars
Via money order.
And only money order.
So I just don't do it.
You could have just stopped at don't. You just don't.
I'm fine to wait until something happens like Capstone picking up Irish Gauge, because like that sounds awesome to me.
Yeah,
I'm
now it
really
sounds like the
looking forward
game's
to that.
actually getting published.
Yes, finally. So yeah, that's your Winsome primer.
Very appropriate recently.
That also concludes the email segment for this week. Next up, we'll move over here to some YouTubes. On episode 133, Reskinned, Paulo, really staking his claim in Paulo's corner again lately.
Yeah.
Comments first, listening to this on the ambassador's birthday. So happy birthday, Adrian. Thank you. It was my birthday on last Thursday, almost a week ago when you're listening to this. It was a good birthday. He then commented a little bit later, likely because he'd been listening to the show and got to a later part of the show. And he says, Vanuatu is so cutthroat, so ruthless, so nasty, so mean, so good. I have to agree. I really like it. I've gotten to play it a few times now, fairly recently, and it's great every time I play it. Then continuing on the Reskinned, M comments, Adrian, I completely agree with you. Bullshit burrito dexterity game. The only benefit I see with this is the inspiration that any turd of an idea can become a game. I liked the art and puns of exploding kittens, and the game was so-so. After that, babies versus bears and crab claw whatever, this is just trash. The best part of this comment is that when Zach reads this, it is now on record saying he agrees with Adrian.
No, it's not, because I don't read this shit. Adrian
Zach
does.
doesn't read the YouTube. So you got to comment on BGG if you want to get Zach to say he agrees with me.
Yes.
Jeff does emails. I do YouTube. Zach does BGG. I vaguely do Twitter, unless somebody tweets onto one of you guys' feeds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then M comments again on YouTube over in the Discuss Managing Collections and says, I've hit that point in my collection where I don't feel I need many of the new things. I have games to cover all themes and experiences and have a few that are still in shrink. I have backed a couple on Kickstarter thanks to your reviews and recommendations, but on the most part, I've slowed down. I like the idea of getting rid of games, but I haven't. I might just donate them, but I feel I need a few squares of shame. Also, my family bought most of my shame games, and I think the day I get rid of them is the day they come over and ask to play it. Great episode. Yeah, there's a couple games. Like that's the reason Megan and I own everything that like has come out under Catan in like the last 10 years up until like the Game of Thrones. And even then, like her dad messaged her randomly like a couple weeks ago and was like, "Have you heard of Catan Incas?" We don't need more Catan. Like we're real happy with base set, Seafarers, and Cities and Knights. Don't need the other thousands of pounds of shit they put out. But we feel bad getting rid of games that her family gives us. So my family's just stopped giving me games. They give me money and are like, hey, you know what to get with this better than I could ever anticipate. So here, that's the way to do it.
Personal touch of a $100 bill or whatever.
Yeah. Well, just knowing, like, especially when it comes to something, if you have somebody in your life who's really passionate about a thing, it's typically a bad idea to get them things related to that
That you have no knowledge of.
without consulting them.
Yes.
In which case they already know what you're going to get them, and it might just be easier to be like, hey, I know you were really into this thing that I know nothing about. Here is some money. Please get yourself something related to that thing that you will enjoy. I don't want to fuck it up. I don't want to waste my money. I don't want to waste your time. Here is a way to do this. You know, and you can do that in different ways. Like, you know, they like games, get them a CSI gift card or something that is related specifically to the hobby you know they're into. If they're into photography, find some photography website where you can buy a gift card.
Get them a $99 CSI gift card. Really?
Yes.
You'll get that free shipping. You got to pay $1.
Yep. Not getting you all the way there.
So that was YouTube comments, which wraps up the listener feedback section of the show. If you would like to get a hold of us, you have plenty of ways to do so. You can jump over to youtube.com/milehighgameguys, where you can subscribe to Paulo's Corner and battle it out with him in the comment section.
Yeah.
You can also always send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can follow us over on Twitter, where I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
And if you want to hear Zach saying he agrees with Adrian, you need to jump over to our BGG guild number 2731, and leave a comment on one of those threads, which will force Zach to read it, and you can get him to say the words, I agree with Adrian.
I mean, I could just quit the show. Okay.
I mean, you could do that. Put it to the test. See how many times you have to make him say, I agree with Adrian in the BGG comments before he quits the show. I feel like it's going to be higher than like 3. Like,
So 4.
yeah, like the line is somewhere near 3, but I think it's just over. You can also like and follow the show on facebook.com/milehighgameguys, and our barren wasteland that is the instagram.com/milehighgameguys account. There's some old pictures of games and us. Eventually we'll find some way to maybe revitalize that. Instagram's where all the hot youth, the youth are hanging out on Instagram.
Yeah. The Utes.
I caught myself in the middle of saying like where all the hot new kid action is.
Oh!
And
But you still said it.
He still said it.
You still said
He
it.
still said it.
because I'm a glutton for punishment. And
I mean,
Yeah.
you were just talking about YouTube.
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah. Those are all the ways to get a hold of us. You can also jump over to our website, milehighgameguys.com, for links in the show notes to our Patreon if you want to support us that way, such as our new patron, Matt Karkoff, who has pledged in the $1 Jeff lays into you category. So, Jeff, take it away.
So I had to do some research on this person, and I found out that he's near invisible, because I don't think he's contacted us in any way, shape, or form in any previous manner that we've been able to figure out. So I liken him to Kevin Bacon in the movie The Invisible Man. And we all know Kevin Bacon is a terrible person, just like Matt. He doesn't win any dance competitions to save the universe,
That's true.
and is probably also a terrible person.
Okay.
And we all know The Invisible Man.
Yes.
No one loves him.
No.
That's why he's so mean.
Yeah.
And you can see his very poorly CGI'd dong, too.
Don't remember that part of the Invisible
Clearly,
Man.
he also has an invisible penis.
Oh, it was visible at one point.
No longer.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Matt, for supporting the show. We really appreciate
You
it.
should have put it towards your invisible penis.
I don't know how you would put $1 a month towards an invisible penis, but
Whatever surgery is required to fix that issue going on.
I don't
at
think
$1 a month.
I don't think invisibility.
Maybe he's from
tech.
Canada. It could actually work
I
there.
don't think invisibility tech's a thing, Jeff.
I mean,
Maybe
Ask
in Canada it is.
yeah.
Maybe in Canada
Chad, let us know.
or Jeff.
Calgary, Jeff.
Yes. While you're over there on the website, there's also the Slack channel where you can join all of these fine and ridiculous folks that we bullshit with over there about all kinds of things. So those are the ways to contact and support and be a part of the show, all of which we really appreciate.
Very much so.
It helps give us fuel to keep going. As always, our Wednesday episodes are sponsored by our awesome sponsors, Gray Fox Games. Their newest Kickstarter, Tsukuyumi Full Moon Down, will be launching just under a week from the time you're listening to this, assuming you're listening to it on Wednesday.
The 19th?
Yes.
Yes. Tuesday
the 19th. Our review of this will be out this Friday, however. We will be reviewing the first edition, and we'll cover some of the differences that we know of between the first and the second edition that's going to be on Kickstarter. The biggest difference, right out the gate, first edition, cardboard standees that were a pain to get into some clips. Second edition, miniatures, because miniatures are where all that Kickstarter money is.
You're not wrong.
This one's going to make a lot of money.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
So be sure to tune in on Friday for our review, and then go check out their Kickstarter next Tuesday when it launches, or Wednesday after you hear about it next week, because it'll be on our Kickstarter segment next week, I think.
For sure.
Just a hunch. So, Jeff, do you have a prepared statement regarding our sponsors?
Of course. Gray Fox Games, quality games, cleverly crafted. Also, there's no such thing in the world as absolute reality. Most of what they call real is actually fiction. What you think you see is only as real as your brain tells you it is.
You're not wrong.
Sure. I think that got deep somewhere in there, but I missed it.
As is tradition.
I mean, this only looks blue to me because my eye says it looks blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that looks green to me.
Yeah.
Maybe you're just colorblind?
It doesn't. It looks blue to me.
Okay, good.
There, we figured out he is colorblind because it's actually green.
Aha! But that one's green.
No, that's blue.
No.
They're both. I know they're both Bud Light cups, but
God, they are.
you should drink. You should drink responsibly, Adrian.
Always do. All right, well, that wraps up the episode. Like we said, be sure to tune in on Friday for our review of Tsukuyumi Full Moon Down. Be sure to check out all those awesome ways to get in touch with us. And until next time, I have been your host, Adrian.
I'm still Zach.
And I'm still alive, Jeff.
For now.
For now.
Bye.
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 You can also jump over to our website, milehighgameguys.com, where there's a
Say
link.
Twitter.
Yeah. You literally said the Twitter, Zach.
Okay,
Jesus.
Obviously, I was not paying attention.
I'm amazed that's made it into the part of your subconscious brain where you can just say it without any other interaction whatsoever.
It's like ringing a bell. Instead of salivating, I say, and I'm saying,
I'm just gonna wait. We're gonna be somewhere doing something where you're focused, and I'm just gonna be like, you can always tweet us. I tweet under @MHGameGuys, and Zach will be doing something else entirely. And I am Zach _MHGG.
Yep.
Punchboard Media, where we all
Bring something
to the table.
pull up a chair
At punchboardmedia.com.